Greetings. So this is one of those messages that I pray encourages whomever is meant to hear it. My heart is heavy. I'm not like the best of places right now as I'm pushing through some stuff as well. And I just, pray that this message encourages those who may be in the same place where you're like kind of like in a funny space within your faith. Yeah, so I'm gonna share this message. So the other day when I was praying, I was like in a space where I was praying to the divine to like help me understand what is going on with me. I seen a vision of I'm gonna just say the depiction of what we think Jesus looks like, okay? What we've been taught, at least. Everything is symbolism, even down to the visions that I receive. So I seen Jesus standing in the water. It's 1:11. As soon as I said that, he was standing in the water and his hand was stretched out to me. And I was very hesitant, not hesitant to like touch his hand, but more so hesitant to get on the boat, because there was a boat that was presenting itself for me to get on. And then I seen the vision of the Six of Swords card, and God showed me, am I going to be able to get over my fear and step onto the boat with him, or am I going to be scared? Because it was like the boat wasn't exactly stationed to where it was safe for me to like get onto it. It was kind of like a gap between the land and the water. It was like a little gap, so I would have to jump, and I was scared to do it for whatever reason. I was like kind of hesitant, and I felt like a little kid almost, in a sense, like a little girl that's scared. And seeing the Six of Swords card, I've noticed the person and the small child next to them on the boat as the man is rowing the boat ahead. So I took that as my inner child. My inner child is really being tested. And this Pisces energy, is significant to me because of the placements in my chart. And it really does deal with spiritual faith, like trusting in the unseen, really blind faith, and that childlike faith and childlike heart to trust. And yeah, so I was led to scripture because I was like, I'm hearing a parable connected to when Jesus instructed Peter to meet him at the water. And this is when the disciples woke up and they were like shook. They were freaked out seeing Jesus walking on water. They woke up to this and they were freaked out. And Jesus said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid. Like, it's me. Like, don't be scared. It's nothing to be scared of." Right. And Peter, the disciple Peter, he said, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Like, they were testing him because they were like, I don't know if that's him. And it was 3:33 when I said that on the timestamp. And they were like, I don't know if I should trust this. Right. So, Jesus then responds to Peter and says, "Come." So then Peter comes out of the boat and walked on the water and was walking towards Jesus. But then he started to get afraid because the wind started to come. And then all of a sudden, as he was praying attention to the fear, he started to sink. And then that's when he was calling out to God. He said, "Lord, save me." And Jesus immediately reached out to him and said, "You of little faith." He said, "Why did you doubt? Why did you doubt?" So what I took from that is, when God reaches out, or the divine, whatever you want to call the divine power, when you're in a position to trust and keep your eyes focused on, and this was another thing that I kept hearing over and over, you're focusing on the end result. You're focusing on the gift and not the gift giver. The power, the essence that's making this happen. Whether you want to give credit to something outside of yourself, that's up to you, whatever. Or the power of that divine power that lies with inside of you, whatever, where you say, I'm going to focus on that promise within self, with the divine, the universe, whatever, the Alpha, the Omega has promised to me, rather than focusing on the result of the thing that you're waiting for, or that you're believing the divine to bring you. You're focused on that. And when we focus on outside of ourselves, in the sense of we're focusing on our circumstances and this and that, and this person is doing this, they're saying that, they're not doing this, they're not saying that, this job is doing this, is my money's looking like this, whatever your circumstances, my health is looking like this. When you start focusing on the external and you're focusing on the chaos that comes with it, at times you start to waver in your faith, you start to sink. And then it's like when we get to that place where we start giving up into, fear or disappointment or despair, discouragement, then we cry out and be like, where are you? What's going on? But the problem is we are not focused on the power of the hands, the divine energy that's working spiritually, working behind the scenes with this, right? And the thing is that we're not ever going to be left without. And when we get to those places, it's a reminder that we're lacking in our faith, and we're doubting the process, or we're doubting not so much the process itself, but we're doubting the divine. We're doubting that power, that divine almighty power, that I am power, essence. We're denying that. So at that point, the disciples, they have recognized that it was truly Jesus that was walking on water. And this part I kind of had to sit with a little bit, even right now, like sit with this part of it, because they recognized him. Because the way that you can recognize the divine is that anytime that is something that we're believing, something that is of our true divine, highest will, highest good, true heart's desire, whatever the divine will for our lives, and we waver in faith, you'll have that spirit of discouragement, and you'll also have that spirit of encouragement. The voice you want to listen to and recognize that, yes, this is the divine, this is that divine power, is it wants you to have faith, not to waver in doubt. Those trickster spirits, those darker energies and forces, or the ego within self, will promote more of the fear. And that's how you can separate what's coming from the divine and what is not the divine. Because if you're being guided to step out on faith, and then you start wavering about it, and you're hearing those voices taunting you, yeah, that's stupid, oh, this is never gonna, oh, those voices, versus the voices telling you to trust. And that's really what I get like from this energy, this time that we're in, really is that childlike energy, that childlike faith, that essence, the fish. And then it makes me think of the parable of the fish, where the disciples were trying to catch some fish, and they weren't successful. And so Jesus told them, cast over here. They had an abundance of fish, right? Pisces energy, blind faith energy. This all connects. And I know some of you guys, whether you're on one side of it saying, oh, how can you be spiritual and talk about Jesus in the Bible? And then you have the other side of people saying, oh, you're talking about Jesus, but why are you talking about astrology in that? Everything connects. You're not supposed to place things above your creator and reverence those things, but you can appreciate them. You can see the divinity in everything. That's the whole thing. Like, I guess, some people don't get it. People probably don't get me and how I interpret things and how I operate, but it is what it is. I only do what I'm guided to do. I don't encourage anybody to solely rely upon tarot or solely rely upon astrology and all of that above their creator. That's not what I'm here to tell you. But to see the divine in everything, yes, I feel like that is helpful. It's been helpful to me on my journey. God speaks to me in multiple things, not just one angle. So I, kind of tie it all in together. But I'm getting Pisces energy is really about that childlike blind faith and trust in the unseen and the unknown. You keep yourself stationed in the same cycle, in the same energy. You're not moving upstream. You're not flowing when you're trying to stay too much on land. You know how fishes, when they flop on land and then they start to suffocate and they're just flopping around trying to find water. That's kind of what it's like. So I hope that this message encourages whoever it's meant to. I didn't mean for it to be 10 minutes long, but yeah, the scripture that I quoted was Matthew 14, I think it was Matthew 14 and 27 through 32. But much love as always. I appreciate you guys. Be blessed, be safe. Until the next time. Peace.